Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to another week with Fathers Who Care. It's been a long one. A long 13 weeks. The young folks did a wonderful job in the quarter. The second quarter, I want to thank all of the folks who came out to support our young people and our community stakeholders, and with the issues that you guys was discussing, which was on opioid use. We was talking about K2, we talking about spice, we was talking about all the other ills that's in the community, alligators. We was talking about underage drinking. We was talking about crocodile, all of that different stuff that's plaguing our neighborhood. And we're still appealing to you folks out here to continue to work together to save our babies and to save our community. Of course, my name is Walter Jones. I'll be your host this evening. You're watching Fathers Who Care, a live interactive television show. We'll be coming to you for the next 12 weeks. And in doing so, we would like to come to you and talk about what can we do collectively as a community to help put down some of the violence, to stop this plight of injustice in the community, to be more supportive of each other, to stand up for righteousness' sake, social justice, to empower our young folks, to give them the tools they need to take it to the next level, and to not be afraid to pass the torch over to these young folks so they can take us on to another level of empowerment. Listen, this show is going to be a show specifically on fatherhood involvement. We feel fathers matter. Now, we also want to see the men come out to Fathers Who Care and volunteer some time with our young people this summer. We need volunteers, men and women. Young people are crying out for attention. They're crying out for some things to do, and we want you to come out and be a blessing to these young people. They can't be what they can't see. So if we want the best for our young people, we got to give them the best. We got to instill, we have to pour into their spirits, we got to empower them, we have to engage them, we have to enlighten them. So I'm encouraging those of you who are saying that these young folks are going through some challenges. You are absolutely right. They need you. They need your support. So listen, this show we're going to dedicate specifically, as we kick it off tonight, we're going to talk about why fatherhood is important in the lives of their children, and fathers matter. So specifically, we want to talk to the viewing audience, why do fathers matter in the lives of their children? Please give us a call here at 312-738-1060. And I understand, women, and we're so appreciative to you all for all the work that you have done to help the men and to help our babies. But please, don't call the show and talk about you, the mama and the daddy, because I ain't feeling that today. All right? So if you want to call the show, talk about what we need to do as far as trying to get the men and the women to come together to empower our young men, our young babies, our children. Not like saying the women can do it by themselves or the men can do it by themselves. No one can do it by themselves. We need both parents. And we're going to talk to our former president, Vernisha Jones, who's the president of the West Garfield Park Community Stakeholders, the West Garfield Park Youth Council. And we're going to talk to David Elam, who's our president emeritus of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. And those of you who know about young folks who are who are young activists, community activists in the community, and those who have been doing a yeoman's job on peer-to-peer leadership, and those who have really been stepping up to make a difference in the lives of young people, you all should know these young people. Then we got Shania 1, raise your hand. Shania 2, raise your hand. And Danielle, raise your hand. And Amari, raise your hand. And Amari, raise your hand. And Marshayla, all of you good people that come to make this show. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Amari. Thank you, Amari. All of you beautiful. And Australia, right? Yeah. Did I say that right this time? See, now she's gonna give me a break. But anyway, come on now. Let's talk tonight about what can we do to make sure that we have fathers more actively involved in the lives of their children. And let's try to talk tonight about some healing, David. Let's talk about sharing some love. Let's talk about forgiving each other. Let's talk about supporting each other. Let's get away from that stigma of beating each other up and battling for a little piece of nothing. All right? You cook more hot dogs than I do. But the hot dogs can be cooked. Cook them, right? Let's quit tripping about little stuff. Mm-hmm. We got a caller, David. Can we entertain? Mm-hmm. Let's get into the show. And thank you, Deshaun, and thank you, So. Come on, call in and give us some information on what can we do to empower more men and more young people to be more actively involved in their lives. Let's bridge the gap between the young people and the elders and see what we can do to make a difference. Caller, you're on there, your comment or question, and thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome. I'm calling. I just want to make a comment and just say that I do agree that fathers in the lives of their children is very important. As a matter of fact, the role that a father plays is a role that mothers, as hard as they may try, cannot play the role of the father, because there's so many things that the children need that the father can give them that the mother just cannot, and sometimes we as mothers, we have to step back and allow the fathers to do what they need to do so that our children can turn out to be okay and not a product of the street.
Wait a minute. Did I hear you say that sometime, I'm just trying to hear what I think I heard you say. Are you saying that sometimes mothers need to kind of back up and try and be the mother and not try to be the mother and the father, and let the father do what he had to do to bring discipline and nurturing and respect to the children?
Yes, I said that.
Okay. So what do you guys think about what this, what our caller just was talking about? Vernisha, you can start first, and then David, you can piggyback on it.
I feel like that's correct. I grew up in a household with my mother and father, and I feel like it's a lot of stuff it's different stuff I don't learn from both parents. Certain ways my mama teach me, my daddy teach me differently. So I feel like it's good to have both of your parents in the same household.
So you're basically saying both parents are important in developing the children.
Yeah, because they both got different mind frames of the way to go about things.
So they bring different stuff to the table.
Yeah.
Different energy, different values, different norms, right? Mm-hmm. So David, what are you thinking?
Well, I also agree that it's important to have both parents in the household, because I grew up in my house with both my parents, but sadly, I lost my father around the time when I was about 15 years old. So, but during the time that he was, in the household, I learned different things from my mom and my dad. It was things I could talk to my dad about, I couldn't talk to my mom about. It was things I could talk to my mom about that I couldn't talk to my dad about. So it's real influential that both parents are in the household, because you learn and get lessons of life from both parties. Even though they're different, but you get lessons of life from both ends.
Well, and I think I agree with you, David, when you were talking specifically about most young people need both of their parents in their lives for that balance. Mm-hmm. We know mothers to be more nurturing, more compassionate, and dad to be more disciplinarian, right?
Yeah.
And that's needed. I mean, there's don't make no one bigger than, there's no big eyes and little U's yours better than what I am. It means that we both bring something different to parenting. And I don't think no one person is in charge of parenting. I think we all learn as we grow, and we all learn as we're dealing with our young people, because some young people you can say things to and others you can't. So it's different ways, but the one thing we have to do is show the love, show the discipline, in order for the young people to be the best that they can be. I mean, right now we're living in some trying times, particularly on the west side of Chicago, where every time we look up, something is going on. We're losing so many of our young people. And our neighborhood, I was talking to a guy who was saying he was a veteran of the Vietnam War. And I say, I'm a veteran too, of the west side, all right? Because what's happening on the west side is we're lacking Beirut as well. And we're doing everything we can to make sure that you young people have opportunities, that you young people are exposed to different ways in life, and that your lives are not shortened. But I'm reminded of the word. The word said that a disobedient child days are numbered, and that young people should honor their parents, honor your mother and that father, that your days may be long. But we have so many young folks today who think they're grown just because they've gotten older. What we're trying to tell you young people is you're not that grown long as you stand in your parents' home. And as long as you need your parents' support, that means you're still dependent on them. So anyway, again, you're watching Fathers Who Care. The number here is 312-738-1060, 312-738-1060, and we're talking about why is it important for fathers to be in the lives of their children. And we want to take this initiative on, or this topic on, and talk specifically of why we need to challenge more men to be more actively involved in their children's life. We ain't talking about my baby daddies, all right, who make those babies and go about their business. We ain't talking about them cats. We're talking about the fathers who step up to the plate and not only take care of his children, but other other children that may not be his biological children. We're talking about the men who have been doing this for years, and we're trying to tell you, those men who are out there watching today, listen, don't abandon your children, embrace your children. We understand situations with your significant other may change. They do change. But we're saying if we want to really make a difference in our community, we got to bridge this community in a sense of love, and we got to show these babies and these young folks out here how important they are to our future. And we need to continue to empower these young folks that they can be the best that they can be. Right now, most of the young folks are fearful to talk and communicate with caring adults. Why is that, young Verdisha? Why are young people afraid to communicate with young people, with their parents? Why are you all afraid to get the Life 360 on y'all phones? What's wrong with y'all? The Life 360 is important to make sure we know where you all are so that you don't fall into harm's way. Why is it hard for young people to respect their parents?
I don't feel like it's hard for young people to exactly respect their parents.
So you have a 360 on your phone?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel like a lot of young people feel like it's hard to talk to their parents because of judgment or things been thrown in their face and different stuff like that. That's how a lot of parents are. When you say certain stuff to them, they're like, that point in time, they'll be there supporting you, then the stuff you say to them get thrown in your face. So a lot of people don't feel comfortable.
Whoa. So are you saying young people feel that they don't want to talk to their parents because they feel like sometimes they say things to their parents out of respect and trying to get the nurturing, and the parent bring that back at them? Is that what you're saying? Mm-hmm. Let's get this call and we're going to come back and address that. Did you hear what she said, David? Mm-hmm. And we want to see if that's true and what can we do to curb that. Caller, you on there. The comment and question, please. Do we have the caller?
I agree with the young lady in the middle about how it's all about being able to talk with your parent. Downloading an app isn't going to build trust and the ability to talk to your parent if you're doing something you're not supposed to. But it's all about having a strong foundation that a mother and father can build within the home with their children.
I like that. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. What do you think about what they were saying? Mr. David is on you, and then we'll come back with you. Your thoughts, sir?
I agree, but to a certain extent, because nowadays, young people, it is kind of hard for them to approach their parents with certain situations because they feel that they're always being preached to. Like they always feel like you always on them about this, you always on them about that. And when they venture out into the free world, they feel like they have free will to do whatever. I mean, that also goes with parents who tend to shelter their child. I mean, you shouldn't want to shelter your child all the time because they're going to feel like they, claustrophobic. You keep them in the house. You tell them they can't go here. They can't go there. They got to be home at this time. They got to be home at that time. They can't hang here or hang there. So they're going to feel like, hey, it's no use, but once they get out there, they're going to feel like it's free reign, so they're likely to get into something and get into this and get into that. Even though you teach your child and you tell your child, okay, stay from here, stay from there, be safe when you go wherever, but in reality, a child is going to do what a child is going to do. You can have the best child in the world in your eyes and say that my child is not going to be involved in this, they're not going to be involved in that, but you can't say that because the world is very influential with young people. They can get into anything almost anywhere, no matter who they're hanging around or just by what they see. So the world is very influential when it comes to the lives of young people.
Yeah, so you're saying that the world is influencing young people.
Big time.
And so the reason why young people are not as supportive with their parents as they could be is because of peer pressure and the lack of respect that they think that they get from their parents or don't get from their parents, right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
We have a caller here. Let's see what the caller's talking about. Caller, your comment or question. We have some of our young leaders from the west side of Chicago. They're talking about what can we do or why it's important for fathers to be actively involved in their children's lives and how can we bridge the gap between our young people and their parents and or adults. And we also was talking specifically about the plight of what's going on in our community with this opioid use and this K2 and the spice and this lean and these mollies and this crocodile and this bath salt and all of these other ills that are merging, that are new merging drugs in our community. Let's get the caller. Caller, you on there. Comment or question, please.
I have a comment for the gentleman David just spoke. David, I totally agree with you with the way you talk, speaking about how when you're rearing your child in a way and then you're trying to hold them down and lock them down and not allow them to, venture out into the world, as so many of us adults did. It's just that times are different now. And I agree with you. And I heard you. What I heard you say, and just correct me, is that the children, the youth, are looking for the parents to respect them just as much as we want them to respect us, and trust that we raise them in the right way and that they won't make mistakes. And if they do, just continue to be there for them. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank you. I mean, we got a few overheads going on over here, and then we also have a few things going on here that we're trying to get covered. So let's get back to the conversation. We're talking specifically about how to empower more young people. Okay, but let me ask this question. Folks just celebrated the 4th yesterday, and look at it, it's moving on. Look at that, nice picture, and it's doing it on its own. Go figure. Folks, I see that. Thank you, Amari. And then we have, listen, how can we educate and enlighten more young men and or young women to be open to allowing their parents, to respecting their parents, and also respecting themselves? Young folks now are not afraid to do anything. They easily pray. What's the deal? Y'all feel that y'all want to be grown that fast? That y'all? No, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just saying, do young people want to be grown so fast that they feel that they don't have to listen to their parents? And I understand, because I was once young too. But I wish I had them young days again. But that's just me. But go ahead, talk to me, you all. Whoever got it.
Can you repeat the question again?
Do you remember the question?
Yeah, it's just basically young people. They feel that they need freedom. They want to be
Freedom.
They want to be free when it comes to.
They want to live in their parents' house, but they want freedom.
Exactly.
Oh, go figure.
But that's not at all households, in majority, but not all of them. You have young people who, listen to their parents, do what their parents say. Then you have other kids who feel like you can't tell me nothing. I do what I want. It's my life. Kids say that a lot today. They're like, it's my life. I live my life the way I want it.
Right.
But what they don't understand is, as long as you're under the protection or household of somebody else, it's rules you gotta follow.
Can you repeat that, please? Can you repeat that one more time, please?
As long as you under the supervision or in someone else's household that is not your own,
And the
there
rules you
are
were saying,
there are rules that
Right,
you gotta
right.
follow. That just comes with the territory. You may not like them, you may not want to get adjusted to them, but it's like they say, if you don't like my rules, it's my way or the highway. If you don't like what I say, if you don't like what I got going on up in here, you can hit the door. And you gotta face it. If you want to taste the world, going on out there. There's plenty that you can, venture out there and get into. But if you want to be here and you're here with me, you need to understand that there's a set rule and
rules.
boundaries
Right,
that you
right.
gotta follow. And they feel like, hey, they don't want to abide by it, and they usually get caught up in the long run for not wanting to have that instinct of discipline that they need to have.
Okay, listen, we want to tell you about an initiative that Fathers Who Care in the West Garfield Park community, stakeholders, and the West Side Community, West Garfield Park Youth Council have been working on for the last week or two, and we've been doing it all last year as well. We're doing what is called a campaign of Light in the Night. It's a campaign to reduce senseless violence and other illegal activities in the community. We're supported by all of our elected officials, by Increase the Harvest, Community Partnering for Peace, the Institute for Nonviolence, of course, Alderman Irvin, Representative Irvin, Senator Van Pelt, LaShawn Ford, and the Chicago Police Department, Community and Policing, Strategic Planning. And so it's a lot of groups of us that's working together. Tomorrow we'll be at Clark Park, 4615 West Jackson. 4615 West Jackson. Free food, free entertainment, free opportunities to come together. And we'll be doing it every week until September. So that means every week, every Friday, we'll be doing a special activity in the street. To try to bring people together to understand that our communities can be safe, it can be productive, we can love each other. And for more information, give us a call at Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821, 773-287-5821. And we want to encourage more young people and more parents and or community stakeholders to come out and help volunteer with the young people. Come on, give them some wisdom. Elders, come on out and share some of that love that you have. Let's get back to talking to these young people who have a lot to share. I think, David, you was talking specifically, you and Vernicia was talking specifically about the parents and that how, young folks want freedom, but they don't want to move, right? That don't make sense. You want freedom, but you don't want to move. Why don't you try paying some rent first, right? But go ahead, I'm having a moment. What are good parents in you all's mind? What are good parents?
Well, to me,
Yeah, to you.
good parent is someone who is, first of all, loving and someone who is, supportive. I mean, I should be able to come to you about anything that's going on with me without, the constitution of judgment.
Yeah.
About something being thrown back in my face, about you, saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing this or you dumb for doing that. I don't want to hear that. I want you to be the parent.
You want a compassionate listener, right?
Console me, understand where I'm coming from, and be there to let me know that,
Okay.
this is what you need to do. This is what you shouldn't be doing. Not all that yelling and bickering. Because to be honest, if I'm talking to my parent and you raise your voice at me, the conversation is over. I mean, if we're having a calm and decent conversation without all the yelling, that's the way the conversation should be. But if it gets to an uproar, then I tend to shut down. The conversation is over and there's no need for continuation of this conversation.
Okay, let's get this caller, and then Vernicia, we want you to respond, okay? So while we're waiting on the caller, you can go ahead and get your thoughts together. Caller, you're in there.
Yes, I'm going to be very brief with this, and you know who this is. This is your favorite Miss Griffin.
And I love me some Miss Griffin.
When we had human resource, the same identical thing was going on in this city. But you know what made a difference? We adults, we didn't try to always first be these young people's friend. We listened. We tried to make connections so we could keep families together. We need to stop playing towards the media. The media is not being fair to us. And yes, I said it, and I mean it. We need to give credit where credit is. Lifetime is changing. Even our churches are changing today. So why wouldn't the kids change? But we as adults, we need to do better. We need to respect our young people. We need to help those who we can help, but nevertheless speak to them and let them know that we care, because they're watching out for us. In fact, they watch out more for us than we watch out for ourselves.
Well,
and
thank you.
Congratulations, and continue on with the great work that you guys are doing, and I love you all. Thank you much.
We love you too, Miss Griffin, and thank you for your faithfulness and tuning in, and thank you for always being an inspiration to these young folks. Caller, you on the air. And we want to thank Jessup and Florida and Jackson and Gloria and some Tayama and some of these other folks who have been calling in. Go ahead, caller, you on the air? Okay, I guess we having technical difficulties with the caller. But let's get back to you was going to talk about what are good parents, and then we got a few minutes, and then we got to shut the show down.
I agree with what David's saying. I feel like a good parent is somebody who's supportive, who is always there for their child, somebody that don't give up on their child. But at the same time, I feel like it's a parent that don't judge their child, always supportive of their kids' decisions, and just a stepping stone for a child.
So listen, caller, you on there? Come on, we need to make it quick because we almost time is almost over, and we just want to get your comment, questions, and concerns about what can we do to be better parents, better motivators, better encouragers and nurturers to our children, and how can we be better parents for our children? Go ahead, caller, you on the air.
Yes, I just have a question. My husband has a child who is 12 and trying to be a part of the child's life, but the mother is giving him a hard time. Would you happen to know of any resources that he can receive visitation rights with
Call
the child?
Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821. Fathers Who Care, 773-287-5821. We're talking about parental rights. We're talking about fathers' rights. And we will give you some information and some resources of some folks that you should call after we give you some kind of insight on some things. And we'll be able to give you, I think we'll be able to help you and your significant other. But you have to give something back. You got to come on back into the neighborhood and mentor some of these young folks, all right? Services we provide are free, and we want you to be a blessing to the folks as we be a blessing to you. So again, you're watching Fathers Who Care. This has been a Stone Gas, that's Soul Train. I talked there, okay, if y'all didn't know. So we want to thank you all for tuning in tonight, and we want to thank you all for logging in on Facebook. We want to thank the young folks for being supportive. We want to thank you guys for the hard work that you're doing. We're telling you to tune in next week, same time, same station, next Wednesday, Thursday. Next Thursday, we're going to be doing the show. Next Friday, we're going to be doing an outside event. An outside event going to be on Kildare and Madison. So listen, God bless you. God keep you. Keep up the faith, and we'll see you on the other side. Good night, and be tight.